Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring, this really fascinating topic, where ancient wisdom meets modern neuroscience.
Oh,
And get this, our source material. Well, this is narrated by a dragon.
a dragon.
Yeah, his name is Zoran, and he combines this ancient wisdom with the work of Dr. Joe Dispensa, the neuroscientist who's pretty famous for all that work on the mind-body connection.
Oh, wow. It's like, I don't know. It's interesting how Zoran, this mystical creature, can kind of bridge that gap between, those ancient practices and then the modern scientific understanding.
Yeah, right. And here's why, all of you listening should care. Ever feel like you're just on autopilot, kind of stuck in those same thought patterns and behaviors? Well, this deep dive we're doing, it's going to explore how you can rewire your brain.
Really?
Yeah, for healing and maybe even like tap into that power of manifestation.
So it all kind of starts with understanding that mind-body connection.
Right.
And Dr. Dispenza's research suggests that, like, a crazy 95% of our actions.
Oh, 95%.
Yeah, they actually come from our unconscious mind, which is, like, often rooted in, past experiences.
95%. That's wild. It's like we're basically running on, like programs from our past. I mean, no wonder it's so hard to break free from those old habits.
It is.
It's like you're trying to run, the latest software, but on a totally outdated computer.
Yeah, and Zoran, our dragon guide, he uses this great analogy to kind of describe this. He says that most people are like a river, just drifting along, just letting the current of their past experiences dictate their path.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Zoran suggests we can learn to steer our own vessels. So how do we take control?
Well, that's where all these ancient practices come in.
Mm.
For centuries, it's things like meditation, breath work, and visualization. I mean, they were used for spiritual growth. But what's really cool is that modern science is now catching up, and it's showing that these practices, well, they have real benefits, like tangible benefits for our minds and our bodies.
So it's not just like mystical woo-woo anymore.
Right.
There's actual science behind it.
Exactly. So, like, take meditation, for example. Studies show that regular meditation can actually, like, increase the gray matter in the hippocampus.
Oh, okay.
That part of the brain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one that's responsible for memory and learning. And at the same time, meditation can decrease the activity in the amygdala. That one's associated with fear and stress.
Wow. So meditation is like a brain workout, right?
Yeah.
It strengthens the good stuff and then calms all that anxious stuff down.
That's a great way to put it. And then there's breath work. That's another one, another ancient practice that's getting a lot of attention from, science.
Oh, yeah, breath work. I've heard about that. It has something to do with the vagus nerve, right?
Yes. Breath work, particularly the techniques that involve, like, deep, slow breathing, they can actually stimulate the vagus nerve, which plays a key role in regulating our nervous system. And this can lead to, like, reduced stress, better mood, and even better physical health.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as our breath can have that kind of impact on our well-being.
Right. And then there's visualization. Zoran, well, he calls it the alchemy of the soul.
Alchemy of the soul, huh?
Yeah, where we kind of use our imaginations to create the reality we desire. And I know it sounds kind of mystical, but neuroscience is revealing that visualization, it actually activates the same neural pathways as physical action does.
Wow.
So it's like aligning our intentions with our actions.
So if I like vividly imagine myself achieving some goal, I'm actually like priming my brain to make it happen.
Precisely. And that actually leads us to Zoran and Dr. Dispenza's insights on healing.
Okay, healing. Let's hear it.
Zoran's perspective is that the mind can be this powerful tool for healing, but it can also be a source of harm if we aren't careful.
Oh, okay.
He even compares negative thoughts to poison.
That's pretty intense.
It is.
But when you think about how stress and negativity affects our bodies, it kind of makes sense.
Right. And Dispenza himself, I mean, he's a really powerful example of this whole mind-body connection thing. Like, he healed himself from a really severe spinal injury.
Really?
Yeah. He got hit by a truck when he was competing in a triathlon. And he credits visualization and meditation with helping him regain his ability to walk.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But he's not the only one, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, there are stories of people healing from all sorts of things by just using the power of their minds.
Absolutely. There are a bunch of documented cases of people experiencing, like, significant improvements with things like multiple sclerosis,
Oh, wow.
chronic pain,
Yeah.
even cancer,
Yeah.
but just shifting their mindsets and, engaging in practices like meditation and visualization,
This is giving me goosebumps.
it is powerful stuff.
So if our thoughts can impact our physical health that much, what about our emotional well-being?
Well, that's where Zoran's insights on material wealth come in. He observed that the people with the most stuff are often the emptiest.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and he argues that true fulfillment, it comes from within.
I like that. So are we chasing all these external things that might actually be leaving us feeling empty inside?
Right.
What truly nourishes our souls?
That is the question.
Yeah.
That's the question that each of us needs to ponder.
Yeah.
And it really ties into Dispensa's work, too.
How so?
He emphasizes that lasting fulfillment, it comes from aligning with our true selves,
Oh, okay.
not from chasing those, external achievements or all those possessions.
So maybe true happiness isn't about getting more, but becoming more.
Exactly. And if we can tap into that power of the mind-body connection, well, we can unlock this whole new level of well-being and potential.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into the deep end here. Quantum manifestation. I'll be honest, it sounds kind of like science fiction to me.
I know it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
But it's based on this idea that, like, our thoughts and emotions, they create this energetic signature, and it interacts with a quantum field.
Yeah.
That underlying field of energy that connects, like, everything in the universe.
So we're not just talking about like the power of positive thinking here, right? This is something way more fundamental. Like our energy is actually shaping the world around us.
Yeah, that's the essence of it.
Whoa.
Think of it this way. The universe, it's like this giant mirror, and it reflects back, the energy that we put out.
Okay.
So if we're always focusing on negativity, doubt and fear, we're more likely to actually attract those experiences into our lives. But if you can cultivate feelings of gratitude, joy, and love, well, then we shift our energy.
Okay.
And then we start to align with a more, positive reality.
Zoran has this like really cool way of putting these super complex ideas into these like simple terms. He says that we're like magnets and we attract experiences that, match our dominant vibration.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And Dr. Dispensa outlines these specific steps for quantum manifestation, which, really resonate with this whole idea of aligning our energy with our desires.
Okay, I'm all ears. So how do we actually make this quantum manifestation thing work?
Well, first, Dispensa emphasizes how important it is to, like, step into the unknown.
Okay.
And that means being willing to move beyond, our comfort zones, embracing uncertainty, opening ourselves up to those new possibilities.
That makes sense, I guess. I mean, if we're always clinging to what's familiar, we're just limiting ourselves,
Yeah.
blocking the flow of any new experiences.
Exactly. And the next step, which Zoran also kind of highlights, is elevating our emotions. And this isn't about, ignoring those negative feelings, but it's more about consciously cultivating those feelings of gratitude, joy, love, excitement, even before, our desires manifest in the physical world.
So it's kind of like acting as if our dreams have already come true, like feeling the emotions as if we already have what we want.
That's the idea. And the third step is to combine those, those elevated emotions with a clear vision of what we want to create.
Okay.
It's about, holding that image in our minds and at the same time feeling all the emotions that are associated with it. Dispensa calls this coherence, aligning our thoughts and feelings.
This reminds me of what Zoran suggested, to practice gratitude in the present moment as if our desires have already manifested. It's like a way to shift our energy, become a vibrational match for what we want to attract.
Exactly. It's about embodying the feeling of already having what we desire, which can make us, more magnetic to those experiences. And finally, the fourth step.
Okay, what's number 4?
This one might be the most challenging one.
Oh, okay. Surrender.
Surrender. So after all that, after we've set our intentions and visualized our goals and amped up those positive vibes, we just got to let go. Yeah, that's the paradox of manifestation. We have to be clear about what we want. Take inspired action towards it and then release the need to control how and when it manifests.
Yeah.
Trusting the process is key.
That's a tough one for me. I like to be in control.
I know a lot of people do.
But I can kind of see how how clinging too tightly to our desires could, I don't know, it could create resistance and then actually block them from manifesting.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between, focused intention
Okay.
and then effortless allowing. And speaking of letting go, there's another powerful concept that both Zoran and Dr. Dispensa, they both emphasize:
Okay.
forgiveness.
Yes, forgiveness. Zoran was pretty passionate about that, wasn't
He
he?
was. He believes it's not about, condoning hurtful actions, but it's more about freeing ourselves from the chains of the past.
Okay.
It's about choosing peace over resentment.
And science backs that up, right?
It does. Studies have shown that forgiveness can actually reduce stress hormones,
Yeah.
lower blood pressure, and even improve cardiovascular health.
Wow.
It essentially shifts our brain activity from the fear center, the amygdala, to the more rational prefrontal cortex.
So holding on to anger and resentment is literally bad for our health.
It is.
It keeps us trapped in those negative emotional patterns.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
forgiveness, it isn't just about, letting go of anger towards others.
Oh, yeah.
It's also about forgiving ourselves.
That's a good point.
Yeah, often we're our own, harshest critics, right?
Yeah,
Carrying around, guilt and shame from past mistakes.
that's so true. We can be so hard on ourselves.
We can.
So how do we actually practice forgiveness? Is it as simple as just saying, I forgive you or I forgive myself?
Well, it can be that simple.
Okay.
But often it takes a little more than just words. It's a process, and it might involve, acknowledging the hurt, allowing ourselves to feel those emotions, and then consciously choosing to release those negative feelings.
Forgiveness, quantum manifestation, the mind-body connection. It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But Zoran, well, he kind of leaves us with this one final thought that ties everything together.
Yeah.
And it might seem simple,
Yeah.
but it's really profound.
Okay.
He wants us to consider the power behind our breath.
It's so fascinating how, something we do, so effortlessly, almost unconsciously,
Yeah.
could, hold so much potential for transformation.
Yeah.
And Zoran reminds us that those ancient yogis, they saw the breath as a bridge between the physical
Mm-hmm.
and the spiritual realms.
Mm-hmm.
And they called this life force energy prana.
And now science is kind of starting to understand those mechanisms behind all these, ancient practices.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about how breath work can stimulate the vagus nerve, right?
Why?
And regulate our nervous system. But Soren, well, he takes it a step further.
Yeah.
He sees the breath as this direct connection to the universe.
Wow.
He describes it so beautifully. He says, with every inhale, we're drawing in this vital energy of the universe.
Okay.
And with every exhale, we're releasing, whatever no longer serves us.
Mm-hmm.
It's this constant exchange, like a reminder that we're not separate from the world around us, but we're interconnected with it.
We are.
It really makes you realize that breathing, it's more than just, this physiological process.
Right.
It's an energetic exchange.
It is.
It's a way to tap into that source of life itself, like a mini meditation that we can do anytime, anywhere.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
And Zoran, he encourages us to become more aware of our breath throughout the day.
Okay.
To notice, its rhythm, its depth, its quality. And he even suggests that just a few moments of conscious breathing can shift our energy and calm our minds
Okay.
and just bring us right back to the present moment.
It's a good reminder that we have this, this incredible tool
Good.
for self-regulation and connection right under our noses. Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's worth reiterating the key takeaway here.
Okay.
By understanding that mind-body connection and utilizing those ancient practices that are now, being validated by science, we can potentially become conscious creators of our own reality.
I like that.
And it's really empowering to know that we have, way more influence over our lives than we might realize.
It is. It all starts with that awareness,
Yeah.
becoming aware of our thoughts, our emotions, and even our breath.
Yeah.
It's about making those conscious choices that align with the reality that we want to create.
And as Zoran so wisely points out, the powers within us.
It is.
We have that ability to heal, to manifest, to break free from those old patterns,
right,
and step into, a more fulfilling and authentic life. And it's a journey, and it begins with that first conscious breath.
This deep dive has been truly eye-opening, and I hope, everyone listening is leaving feeling as inspired and empowered as I am.
That's great.
And remember, like Zoran would say, the universe is listening.
Yes.
Breathe your dreams into being.
I love that.
Don't forget to check out the glossary and all the references that we've provided for further, exploration. And until next time, keep diving deep and keep breathing.
Yeah.